Good morning, Saints. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I'm Ari Renette.
And I'm Taylor Morehouse.
And this is SFHS Today. In national news, approximately 18,000 cows were killed in a blast at a Texas dairy farm early this week, according to local authorities.
In school news, Bright Star Musical opens up on Thursday, April 20th with the first showing at 7 p.m., as well as the 21st and the 22nd. On the 23rd, there will be a showing at 2 p.m., being the last show.
Bright Star, this year's spring musical, is a sweeping tale of love and redemption. Set in North Carolina in both the 1920s and 40s, Bright Star is a bluegrass musical with a variety of characters, each with their own story.
My character's name is Alice Murphy. She is a lead female role who makes her way in a man's world. It switches between her young ages and her old ages, and she's super feisty with this man right here, so...
Jimmy Ray is a charming small-town boy with a very heartwarming personality. He also goes between his ages back and forth, so he has a lot of different emotions.
So, I play Billy in Bright Star. He is a 20-year-old male who just came back from World War II. And when he gets home, there's something that changed about his family that really just kind of ruins his positive outlook coming back. But generally has a pretty positive mindset throughout the entire show, and that really does show in a lot of his acting and performing.
The show itself is very different from shows done in previous years.
It's different because it's less happy-go-fun-lucky. Take Little Mermaid, for instance. We've done a lot of Disney musicals and things of that sort, and Bright Star has a lot more mature content in it.
I think that Bright Star, for the actors, it takes a lot more of like an emotional toll to get into character. Being Ursula or Little Mermaid or Prince Eric or anything, it's still a difficult role, but this is a lot more mature and adult for actors.
Bright Star also features plenty of newcomers.
So yeah, this is my first ever time being an actor on stage. It's been very strange. Definitely has taken a while to get used to, but it's been great trying to put myself out of my level of comfort. I've learned so many great things, and especially just being around so many people who love doing theater as like an extracurricular. It really has taught me a lot of life skills and things I can possibly apply to college and my senior year.
Bright Star is showing at 7 p.m. on April 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and on the 23rd it is showing at 2 o'clock p.m. Tickets are available for students for $6 and $8 for adults.
Well, I'm personally looking forward to it, but the weekend after that is prom.
With prom coming up, I went out and talked to the prom committee advisor, Anna Rule. With prom being masquerade themed, are we allowed to wear masks?
Yes, absolutely. So it says on the back of the tickets, masks are recommended but not required. So you do not have to wear one, but we are encouraging that you do.
And when is the deadlines for everything?
So the deadlines, like for tickets, the last day that tickets are standard price is April 18th. After that, tickets are going to increase from $70 a ticket to $80 a ticket. But the final deadline to purchase tickets, if we're not sold out at 400, would be April 28th, the day before prom.
Thanks, Ms. Rule, for getting us that information.
Some of our reporters went on a little trip back to our middle school to get some interviews on the middle school mathletes.
Gosh, that magic lady hard.
But not for the middle school mathletes.
So we went to the middle school and interviewed them and asked them some questions.
And then we tested them in a battle of wits. When did the mathletes start?
Well, in November I got a thing in my mailbox about a math competition for sixth graders. So I decided that because we don't have a honors program in sixth grade, that we would do a Mathletes competition. And I had all the kids that wanted to show up. We started out with about 70 kids, and I had 35 kids to do a competition. We did it the Friday before spring break, March 3rd, and we went up to Sauk Rapids. And all the kids did an individual test, and then we had 6 teams that went up there. There was 4 kids on each team, or 5 kids on each team, and we had 6, we competed, and we actually did pretty good. Sauk Rapids does a lot more practice than we do, so we learned a lot. But this is just part of my team. I had 2 kids that actually placed in the individual competition. I had Penny Beeman and Tate Poland, and the teams did okay. The top team ranked 12th, I believe, correct? You guys were on the top team. Yep.
And what type of math do you guys do?
Well, the kids were expected to know how to do circles. They had to do some pre-algebra, order of operations. They had to be able to, what was some other stuff?
Basic facts.
Basic facts, yep. Basic probability. Yep, some of the 6th grade stuff, but some of the more enriched stuff that some of the kids knew and some of the kids got to learn as a process. So these kids are more of my kids that are advanced, so it's kind of nice.
What made you guys join the Mathletes?
I thought it would be a good experience.
I liked math. I just wanted to be in it with my friends. I've always liked math. I wanted to go to the math competition.
And out of PEMDAS, which letter is your favorite?
M, P, A, P, E.
You're asked to find a product. What operation do you use? What does a quotient mean?
Divide.
Okay. Oh, what is a coefficient?
Letter.
No.
And the number that is like connected to a variable.
7 times 7.
49. 49.
He was first. You were close. You were close. I'll give it to you. You were close. What is it called when we put the little number above a
Exponents.
12 times 12?
144.
What is that called if you do the number and that's the same thing? What are they called?
Squared.
Oh, she burned you on that one. I like that one. 7 times 8.
56.
No, you gave her that one. I remember. Thank you.
I'm sure she knew. Yeah, I'm sure she knew.
You know what? This has been fun.
But are you smarter than a 6th grader?
Don't even talk about that. Let's pass it over to sports.
Hey, Saints, I'm Grace Scopus.
And I'm Cam Husby. And this is sports.
In national sports news, according to ESPN, the Philadelphia Eagles and quarterback Jalen Hurts have reached an agreement on a 5-year, $255 million extension, which is the biggest contract in terms of average annual value in the NFL history.
Also, yesterday was the annual Boston Marathon. Defending champion Evans Chibet of Kenya won, finishing in 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 54 seconds, the 3rd fastest winning time in history. In the women's category, Helen Obiri, a 2-time Olympic silver medalist, won with 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 38 seconds, giving the Kenyans a sweep of the race according to NBC Boston News Station 10. Spring sports are still being affected by the cold and snowy weather and have led to canceled games and meets.
Baseball practiced inside yesterday with the latest snowfall from Sunday. The first game of their season is scheduled for today at Cambridge Isani, and they play their first home game, which should be on Friday against Chisago Lakes, but the weather will determine that.
Softball was scheduled to play Zimmerman yesterday and also plans on playing against Cambridge Isani today. Reporters Taylor and Ari spoke with AD John Martin about all of the rescheduled games and the challenges this season for spring sports.
What are the challenges that you have had rescheduling all the games?
Well, the biggest challenge is facilities and finding dates with the other teams that we play that we both have open. On top of that, with the umpire and referee shortages, making sure that we have enough officials to cover the games and make sure that they're legal games.
How many games have you had to reschedule?
This is going to be a guess, but I would say up to 24 total. We did a big, massive pushback of baseball and softball, and then on top of that, we've had some tennis matches rescheduled or canceled, and so it adds up quick.
And are there games this week and next week you've had to reschedule due to the recent snowfall?
We have had all of our games rescheduled today, so they've all been canceled or postponed, and we're still looking at dates for some. So I shouldn't say they've all been rescheduled, but they've been postponed, and we're looking for mutual dates that we can make those up. We are in talks of later on this week on what the weather actually does, and the balance is not trying to cancel too early based on a forecast, because that's happened before where you cancel a game and the day of it's good enough to play, but waiting to see what the weather does. So yeah, we're definitely in talks of rescheduling things this week.
As a baseball player, it has been super frustrating this season. Schools south of us have gotten in some playing time, and it feels like a disadvantage to us.
In competitive activity news, Fatih Yang will represent SFHS High School at the state speech tournament. Emily and Reese got more information from him about the tournament.
Well, for my competition, I went to sectionals and I got first at sectionals, which is very nice. It was a shock to all of us, and I think the best part is that, like, especially in speech, when you get first, it's not like a discount to everyone else. Like, all my competitors, like, most of them actually hugged me afterwards because it was just such a fun time doing speech. And what I look forward to at state is just getting to meet so many more people than you usually would. In my speech competitions, I usually meet the same amount of, like, handful of people. But at state, you get to meet so many people from across the, states, and all of them are just so good and have such amazing topics and such amazing oratories. My speech was about how we should listen more in our society, and that we don't really truly listen to each other enough and to ourselves enough either. One of my points was about how, because we don't listen to ourselves, many times we just feel regret about things afterwards.
That's all we have for you this week.
Now back to Ari and Taylor. This time, they're on the roof.
What up, Saints? This is the weather forecast by Ari
And Taylor. Today, high of 56, low of 23.
Wednesday's the high of 46 and a low of 37.
Woo! Thursday has a high of 44 and a low of 33 with a chance of rain.
Friday's weather with a high of 42 and a low of 32.
And with the weekend, a high of 46 and a low of 22, cloudy. Before we go, Colin and Amen went around to see how much we are all on our phones.
It's the random question thing, ding.
You darn kids, always on your darn phone.
What the heck did you do?
Back in my day, we didn't have our phones.
I've only got 13 hours of screen time today.
What's your screen time?
What is your guys' screen time average?
Mine last week was 4 hours and 21 minutes.
Mine last week was 9 hours and 48 minutes.
My average was 10 hours and 26 minutes.
My average is 5 hours and 9 minutes. Screen time average?
Mine's about 2 hours.
Mine's 5 hours and 30 minutes.
My average last week was 8 hours and 52 minutes.
My last week's average was 5 hours and 30 minutes.
My screen time average last week was 7 hours and 5 minutes.
Mine was 4 hours and 20 minutes.
My screen time for the last week was 7 hours, 29 minutes.
And my screen time was 7 hours and 57 minutes.
What's your screen time? 4 hours. She needs to stay off her phone.
That's all we got for you this week. Stay safe, Saints.